Hail the Blizzrd!
I don't care how I feel. I ignore it. Ignore how you feel.
But what's a great metal band, but with a really horrible band name?
I love the band, but that has got to be one of the dumbest names I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, someone spilled water in my fat bag of weed.
Some bands that are canceled now and shit.
Fuck metal.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Blyzzrd Show. We're calling it Blyzzrd Show for now until I come up with a new name. So welcome to the Blyzzrd Show, everybody. This week, we're going to go over some of the things that have just been happening over in the course of the metal scene and the metal world. We got a couple of things going on with Grammy news. I have an interview with one of the members of Scour going to be coming up as well, so stay tuned for that during this show. I hope everybody's having, a good week. And while you're here and I'm doing my intros, make sure you guys are always following here on YouTube, listening, subscribing, commenting, sharing, engaging. All that stuff really helps out the channel as well, helps it grow. Make sure you're following as well over on Instagram at The Blyzzrd, as well as on TikTok, Blue Sky. Make sure you check out the link in the bio and link in the description for all my socials to make sure you're staying up to date with everything. Make sure you also pick up merch. I got t-shirts available, so please make sure you go pick them up. They're a limited run of 30. Really helps out the show a little bit more financially, help things going, paying for equipment and all that fun stuff. So go support your boy. Go pick up a shirt. I got sizes small to 3X, so that's for you guys. Over on there, that's over at Blyzzrd.bigcartel. Really appreciates everything that you guys have been doing. The orders have been going out. They've been shipping. They've been doing really good. So let's get into it. So the Grammys this past weekend, and I know as a metalhead, the Grammys are seeing me as like a bastard son because there's still only one metal category in the Grammys, and B, just some of the things that have happened at the Grammys revolving around metal kind of became a little bit more newsworthy. So as I previously mentioned, the Grammys only have one metal category, not a rock, not a hard rock. They have rock, they have hard rock, they have rock album, rock song, rock performance, but they only have metal performance. They don't have one for metal album or anything like that. That's whatever. This year, the nominees for Best Metal Performance was Crown of Horns by Judas Priest, Screaming Suicide by Metallica, Suffocate by Knocked Loose featuring Poppy, Mea Culpa by Gojira featuring Marina Viola and Victor Lemon, the song they performed at the Olympics, and Cellar Door by Spiritbox. Little spoiler alert, whatever. Gojira wins the Grammy. Fantastic. Congratulations to Gojira. Congratulations to Marina. Congratulations to Victor Lamont. Incredible performance. Very powerful performance. Very much prideful of the band to go and show off their country and all that. During the red carpet ceremony, other than Kai Cenat running around and trying to get as many selfies with as many celebrities and musicians and artists as he can while he's like midstream, there was one of the media people were interviewing Courtney LaPlante of Spiritbox, this singer of Spiritbox, and mistakenly calls her Poppy. People kind of put a lot of perspective into things or whatever, and things happen when you're an interviewer. I understand it myself. We're all not perfect, and some people are nervous, some people just forget their lines or stutter or whatever. But during this interview, she mistakenly calls Courtney Poppy, and Courtney takes it like a champ, responds in a little bit of a nod of like, sort of like acknowledging her error, but it's like, listen, the show's gonna go on. Kind of embraces it a little bit. It's kind of like takes it like a champ, really saying, I am Poppy, and I'm here with Knocked Loose, and I hope we win. Kind of like just playing along to it a little as well. I can see both sides of the idea of where there could be a line of disrespect, I guess, with metal. Because, they're not, the reporter must have either gotten the names mixed up because, interviews are very 30 seconds to a minute long, if that. And sometimes you just mix it up with people. Or she actually mistaken Courtney for Poppy. Which, also, when you're interviewing somebody, you kind of need to know who they are and know the names of the person. It's very important. Just first and last name, it's all you really need. Write it down on a piece of paper 1,000 times so you know who it is, or say something before the cameras are rolling. So yeah, already with, A, metal only having one category in the Grammy, and B, reporters and media, kind of asking somewhat irrelevant questions or questioning or mistaking musicians for other musicians. I understand that, the frustration with that, being a metalhead, because metal is, one of the interviewers for AP magazine, or AP whatever, was talking to Gojira and talking about this revitalization of metal and becoming into the mainstream. And, metal really never went away. Just other things were overshadowed. In my experience of it, not trying to be the old man, talking about, back when metal was metal and all that. Or, trying to say that pop music took over and stuff. No, because it did take over. Pop music and hip hop and rap, those are the main market sellers for streaming services, touring, and all that. That's kind of just like a music industry thing as a standard. And yeah, metal going and taking the scene on the back burner does suck as a metalhead, but really kind of keeps the vibes of everything that metal has worked for, you know, being underground and not in the mainstream, you know, because metal, in a sense, being an asset of punk as counterculture, not wanting to be mainstream and out there or whatever. But listen, you get a call from the Grammys, you're going to show up to the Grammys. It's kind of like one of those things. And for all the metal nominees, you know, congrats to everybody. Obviously, congrats to Gojira for winning. Everybody put on killer performances for other nominees, and all great songs across the board. Really could have gone to anybody at that point. Speaking about kind of things that are just based in the music industry, talking about other things that were happening during the Grammys, pop star Chappell Roan, during her acceptance speech for Best New Artist, and congrats to Chappell Roan for that. I am a fan of Chappell Roan. I like her last album that came out a couple years ago. The Good Luck Babe single's fantastic. She got nominated and won Best New Artist. During her speech or whatever, she brings out her little, I guess, a diary or a journal, and talks about, you know, calling for a reform to action for the music industry as a whole. Taking that opportunity to, not only use your platform to address concerns that a lot of people really have in, you know, the music industry, whether it be fair wage pay, health insurance, protection, you know, it's really kind of blows my mind that a lot of these record labels don't really have those sort of things in place. They probably do for, you know, the staff of the record labels, you know, whether it be just people inside or, you know, not for the people that are keeping the record labels alive, which are the artists, the performers, bands, musicians. Regardless if you play the most underground cavernous death metal or you're like performing Pink Pony Club on an actual giant pink pony, health insurance is a human right, and these people who are on the road, you know, 300 days out of the year, writing, recording, and making millions of dollars based on ticket sales, album sales, merchandise sales for these labels and these big record companies, it's kind of asinine that they kind of think, you know, these basic human rights as an afterthought. 'Cause there's a bunch of different, you know, factors that play into things, whether it be personal issues, family emergencies, medical issues, all these certain things. A lot of these artists don't have these guarantees, and they end up losing money on tours that they either have to drop off on or just cancel out completely. And it sucks. It is a real sentiment for Chappell Roan to go and use her platform to talk about these things, and the people that are, you know, running it, who are pocketing a lot of money, whether it be CEOs of giant record labels, giant streaming services. It's kind of baffling and buffooning that these artists are putting out their art and their expressions. They're putting out their feelings and emotions and things that they've gone through life, you know, dealing with, whether it be turmoil, loss, grief, anger, sadness, happiness, whatever it may be. And these labels are just shunning them as human beings and just seeing them as just marketing tools. You know, the old saying about, you know, record companies and all that, you know, that they're just greedy fat cats, you know, trying to stack as much paper to the ceiling. I don't care if you're George Corpse Grinder or Sabrina Carpenter. You deserve human rights. You have the rights to health insurance, dental insurance, life insurance, protection for your family, protection for your belongings. How many times also do you see that artists are on tour and their house is broken into, their audio equipment's destroyed, their audio equipment's stolen and, you know, sold on the market or whatever? Like, it's happened to a lot of bands and a lot of artists that can't bounce back from that because that's their investments, that's their gear, that's their property, and they still have to go through the loops of insurance just like everybody else. I really do hope that her speech really looks into the greater issue with musicians and them being on the road and them being out there and performing and making money for these labels and only seeing a fraction of that in the end. And that's a shame. Because I love all these artists that I go and see because I support them and I support the art they put out, the music they put out. They're good people. I really do hope this kind of calls for a reform. We've seen this recently with Live Nation with the On the Road Again Act, helping out artists that are playing smaller venues to accommodate for food, gas, hotel, lodging, whatever it may be, when they play a certain level cap venue in a certain market, in a certain city. And that's been fantastic because it's helped out bands, it's helped out crew, it's helped out roadies, it's helped out bus drivers, it's helped out with anything, you know. whether it be just trying to get a shitty hotel for the night, or like, hey, our RV needs like major repairs that are gonna like cost us a day of touring, but it's not gonna cost us a lot of money because we have the On the Road Again program, because it's doing fantastic. It benefits people, and it makes people want to go out to concerts. It makes people want to tour even more, which helps out the artists who want to go and distribute their art and their everything and their creations to the people in the world. It helps out the labels because they're still going to be making money, and it helps out the consumers, you and me. Like, we're the ones that are putting out the money for the vinyl, putting out the money for the ticket, putting out the money for the shirt, the meet and greet, the whatever. And I really do hope that we can go and take a wider look of everything that was going on. I understand that that the musicians that tour, like we can see Jay-Z, Beyonce, all as these big millionaires and billionaires, your Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenters, all of them. But like at the end of the day, they're them calling a reform to music and them being pop stars and the biggest platform as possible, like the Grammys, where all the label executives, all the label head honchos and all that are in attendance and listening to this young woman speak something about she's passionate about. I applaud you, Chapel Roan. This isn't the first time that she's been vocal about things, been vocal about, fan interactions, and really setting a different precedent for boundaries as, the fan-artist relationship, lines blur for some people. But again, congrats to Chapel Roan, Best New Artist. Congrats to Gojira, Best Metal Performance. Nothing else really happened for me with the Grammys. I skip over the Grammys because the Grammys really skip over metal. But hey, I'm not just going to go and beat that dead horse because it's whatever with the Grammys. Kendrick won 5 Grammys for one song. Who cares? So let's go ahead. This is my interview now with one of the members of Scour. Don't know yet, so we're going to find out together on this episode of The Blyzzrd Show. Roll the tape. Today, I'm joined by John Jarvis, the bass and backing vocalist for Scour. We're going to be talking about the band's new album, Gold, that's going to be coming out February 21st via Housecore Records and Nuclear Blast. So, John, how are you feeling today, my man?
Feeling great. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining, dude. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I can't complain too much. I just got done listening to the record the past couple times this past weekend. It's incredible. So, congrats to you guys for putting this album together.
Right on. Thanks for checking it out.
Always. So tell me a little bit about back in 2015 when the band first started. Tell me about everybody getting back together and how everybody kind of met one another when forming Scour.
Well, we all knew each other from growing up in St. Louis. So we started when we were on tour with Cannibal Corpse. I was tour managing Cattle Decapitation, and Derek was playing bass, and we were just both kind of noticing little things that we liked and didn't like about touring, and liked and didn't like about the music business. And we were kind of on the same page on things, and said, let's start a band doing things the right way. Was really the idea at first. And then we started adding members on later.
Okay, I like that. And this was with you and who else you said? I'm sorry.
Derek, the guitar player.
Okay.
Songwriter for Scour.
Nice. Is he the main songwriter for the band?
Oh yeah, he writes all the guitar riffs, puts all the songs together, and kind of filters them through me. And once I approve it, it goes to Phil. Once he approves it, it's a Scour song.
Nice. I do like that, especially with you guys all coming together from different aspects of, the metal world is just so big and there's so many different genres on subgenres. Seeing, yourself with the projects that you have been working on, as well as obviously Adam and Derek as well, and Phil, kind of having everybody come together and blending of this just conglomeration of extreme music. What do you think that kind of makes you guys different versus like any other the super groups? I hate using the term super group because it's like a group in itself. Right. But what do you think kind of stands out Scour versus a lot of those other types of artists?
Well, I guess it's when we play, it just it's kind of a special event. It's not like, I don't know what sets us apart from any other of these bands, but we don't really tour. We're more of like a festival band. You know what I mean? If we come to your town, it's probably going to be one of the only times we play. So you might as well come see us. We're not going to be coming to your town twice a year like a lot of bands do.
Right,
So
right.
it's more of a unique opportunity when we're playing live. Uh, but yeah, it's just really we're all old friends. I guess what's maybe sets us apart from other bands like that. It's we all grew up in the same metal scene except for Phil. Phil clearly had his own thing going on back then. Uh,
Hmm.
but we're growing up all together, jamming with different bands together, and I don't think any of the other super groups all grew up together. They're kind of taken from bands from all over the country.
No, definitely. Yeah, I do like that. It's different because, like, I mean, you guys are obviously yourself with Nest and ABN, and Adam with pardon me, Adam with Pig Destroyer, Derek with Misery Index, and obviously Phil's doing stuff with Pantera. Like, it's kind, you guys all kind of still growing up together in the scene, but still being able to see each other as well as friends outside of versus like business partners with a musician.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, it is a business,
Hmm.
and it comes to it's luckily making money becomes a problem. It's the good problem to have. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I that was the first time I had to get like an LLC and start paying my taxes, and I was like, well, I guess making money is a good problem to have. So it's better than not making money.
No, absolutely. So back to the album Gold. This is the band's first debut full length. How do you feel this differs from your guys' first previous EPs that you've put out previously?
Well, it's got a little more everything on it. You know what I mean? We kind of figured out what we can do as a band and expanded on that and kind of pushed it as far as it can go. Like we literally pushed the drummer as far as he can go. Like, can you play this fast? And he'd play it. And he'd be like, all right. And we bump it up, but faster, faster,
Hmm.
until it's like, all right, it can't go this fast, you know. And that's when we had to stop. Like, all right, that's as fast as we can go. So we took it as far as we can go on this one. And there's certain songs that it's like, hey, these feel like the perfect Scour song. It's got a little bit of everything we kind of do, and kind of having our own signature sound at this point. I think.
Definitely. I noticed like pardon me. I noticed that the sound really is kind of a little bit everywhere. Like there's elements of black metal, there's elements of grind, there's elements of noise and death metal in there. It has a very, very distinct sound between the guitar playing, the bass playing, and the drums. The drums are just relentless on this track, on this album, I should say.
Well, yeah, and yeah, like I said, we pushed him as far as he can go, and we actually had some time to take time. Well, he took a good week of just tracking drums. Maybe it was 2 weeks of drums. Because yeah, I think it was 2 weeks.
Still
But
a long time.
right, yeah, it's but that's because we had the luxury of Phil's studio. Luckily we could. If it would have taken 3 weeks, so be it. But we made sure we were all happy with everything on this record. And that's why it took a little while for the mixing and mastering, and because we all had to say, okay, it's good.
No, definitely, dude. It sounds great. The production on this album sounds outstanding on it. It sounds clean, crisp. Everybody's instruments kind of have a moment to shine through, and that's something I really look forward to when I'm listening to a metal album, kind of showcasing everybody because you all are incredible musicians in your own right. But to be able to go and do this type of music and this type of sound kind of really shows the testament for your guys' growth and everything.
Yeah, man. I was just listening to the test press on vinyl yesterday, and I could really hear the bass well. And if I wanted to zero in on the drums, you could hear that very well too. And Phil's vocals sound great. So yeah, there's no complaints on the production from me.
Nah, man, it sounds abs. Who did the who produced this album actually? I wanted to ask you that as well.
Well, we had people tracking. We had a Mike Dorsey track the drums and guitar and bass. We had Steve Brogdon reamp the guitars. I mean, we had a lot of people stepping in. The mixing and mastering was done by Fascination Street, Dennis Israel. So we had a lot of people. Eddie Mapp helped out getting sounds in the early tracking. He does sound for Pantera. Uh, a lot of people helped out along the way. I tracked Phil's vocals because I just happened to be there, and it's like he's ready to go. I was like, sweet, let's do it.
Nice.
So I was lucky enough to work with Phil on that.
Nice.
So
How
we
was
all.
that?
Sorry, go ahead.
How was that experience?
Incredible, man, because I learned a lot. I learned how he does things. I learned how the pros do it. At one point he was layering all these vocals, and I just said, where did you learn this? And he said, Ozzy Osbourne taught him. I'm like, well, that's fucking rad. I'm going to remember this. Now I know. So I'm tracking vocals actually over the next couple of days. And I'm already thinking about I could layer some cool shit just like Phil's was. But yeah, just learning. I was learning Pro Tools thanks to it. I always use Logic Pro X on my Mac. So I'd never had Pro Tools, never used it. And so he basically said, you better learn it, because that's what we're using. Like, so I had to learn how to use Pro Tools like really fast.
Nice.
I'm still learning, but yeah, it's all thanks to him that it's actually whipped me a little bit into shape. And now recording my next record, I have a lot more knowledge.
Nice. Nice. I love it, dude. Um, so like I said before, you're also doing stuff with Nest and Agoraphobic Nosebleed. Do you go into a different mindset when you're writing stuff and recording for Scour that you do versus your other projects?
Well, definitely, yeah, because they're all so different. When I recorded stuff for A&B, it was really in the early days of iPhone, and I was learning how to use interfaces going through there and recording tracks on that and sending it back and forth. And then, now it's advanced where I actually got the MacBook I'm using right now was from those days. I was using to learn how to do Bandcamp or not the band, yeah, GarageBand.
GarageBand, the other one.
Yeah, Logic Pro X is now, of course, what I use. But yeah, it's all you learn little stuff here and there, and then you kind of say, okay, I'm done with this project, and then you start fresh. You're like, all right, now I need to focus on this band. Like yesterday I was writing lyrics for Nest, so I had to really get into a mode and kind of turn the phone off and start writing lyrics. But for Scour, when I'm writing stuff, it's mostly the lyrics already written by Phil. We just pop in our backing vocals here and there, so it's a different type of writing.
Like the more chantier stuff.
Yeah, he'll kind of sometimes even leave us spots. You could tell he won't tell us like that's where you sing. He seriously just says sing wherever you want. It's pretty cool how laid back he is about this type of stuff. Because the first couple records, I was kind of nervous to do the backing vocals. So I'm thinking, what if he hates it?
Right.
So luckily he hasn't hated any of it. So it's great.
Nice, dude. It's fantastic. So one of my favorite things about this record too is all the song titles are just one word. I love that. It's simple for my ADD infested mind and kind of has a just nice flow with it too. Musically and lyrically as well with that. Do you think this was done on purpose for the one word tracks as well as like just the flow of the songs kind of just going into each other?
Yeah, I think that's a Scour way. It's really always been that way. I think there's only been like one song with more than one word in it. I think Tear Gas might be the only one. But yeah, it's kind of the short and sweet way we do things. A lot of the songs are short and sweet and catchy, and the logo is just kind of there. We don't have a lot of artwork and flashy stuff. It's just kind of
Straightforward to the point.
right. Yeah, that's kind of the way the music is, and that's the way I like it. I know a lot of bands do the 9-minute songs. It's just not the way we are, but I will let the other bands do that, and I say stuff like, why would we want to start a new metal band, and try to sound like Rage Against the Machine? It's like, it's a bad idea because they're good at it. They did it. Why try to compete with that? Why try, let's just do our own thing and, go from there.
No, absolutely. Sorry, I just had my questions lost for a second. Do you have a personal track on this album that kind of stands out to you more than anything, whether like playing it or just listening to it?
Well, I mean, there's a few of them that come to mind, but Coin is one of my favorites. It's got the Gary Holt solo,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. It just anytime I'll listen to, like I said, I listened just the other day on the test pressing. It reminds me of being in the studio with Phil and tracking it live, and I'll think about how impressive it was because he would sing the whole song, and then then he'd say, "All right, give me another track. I'm going to do a layer here, whatever." And but for me, when I'm in the studio, by the end of the song, I'm wore out, like especially because I'm screaming my head off. But it's best for me to just go like line at a time or verse at a time, and then go to the chorus. And I kind of stop because I'm out of breath. But he doesn't stop. He doesn't get out of breath. He just goes through the whole track, and it's just like, all right, it makes my job a lot easier pressing the buttons because he'll be like, all right, stop, because I won't even stop because he just keeps going.
Yeah, yeah,
It's great.
he's built for that.
Right, right. And I'm not. I'm learning, like I said, but I can't. My voice is not as strong as his. His is very powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's an absolute he's really showing off his range too on this with Phil. And you guys all are too. Like everybody's expanding their music prowess with this album. Everybody, like I said, everybody's got a moment to shine on it through many of the different tracks. I want to talk about also on one of the lead singles. There was a side note of with something for a John Paget. Can you speak on that? I was curious on the connection with with those two.
Yeah, Phil was a fan of his writings, and yeah, I guess he's from New Orleans, uh, and he was inspired so much that he used a lot of it for some of the lyrics with his, okay, of course.
Hmm.
And we were trying to get him actually on the video, and at the last minute he just couldn't do it. But I ended up meeting him at the haunted house we had. He came out and hung out, and yeah, he's a writer from New Orleans that Phil's a fan of, and like a homework assignment, we all read the books
Yeah.
before making the video, and kind of we're each throwing in our ideas for the video for Infusorium. And yeah, it was really, that was Phil's idea. And yeah, pretty cool little side note. Like you could read a little story if you wanted to, if behind it.
No, definitely, dude. Um, so the only tour date you have so far this year is for Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I know you're saying before that everybody's got their own projects, doing their own things, families, lives, bands, and all that. Do you expect that you guys could be seeing any more tour dates from Scour in the future?
Oh, for sure we will. It's just always a matter of can we do it? There's a lot of offers we have to say no to, sadly.
Hmm.
It hurts because I would like to have a lot of Scour shows and lots of money. That's what I would like. But unfortunately, we got to do what we can. And, when Pantera's on tour, we can't play. And when Misery Index is on tour, there's a lot of things that get in the way. And we get offers all the time. And it just, if it all lines up, that's when we can play. So, I there's some that are coming up this year that I hope work out, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. We can always do some fests next year.
No,
But
definitely.
it's a big year for all of our other projects, so we just gotta roll with it.
No, definitely for sure. Us here on the show. I know this was a little bit shorter than anticipated, but I'm really excited for everybody to check out the new album from you guys from Scour. The new album is out February 21st via Housecore Records and Nuclear Blast. Make sure you go pick it up, pre-order it. There's a plethora of pre-orders online. Um, and do you have any closing words as well, John? Do you have anything that you want to plug in personally that's going on?
I'd say go for the gold, man. Get that gold record. Check it out. Thanks for checking out Scour.
Definitely, definitely. All right, everybody. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and take care. And bye-bye.
Cheers,
We're
man.
good. And there you go. That's the new single there from Scour. That's their new single out now, Blades. It's coming off the band's upcoming debut album, due out February 21st via Nuclear Blast and Housecore Records. That's their coming off their new album, Gold. Really fun track there. Really great interview with John Jarvis. Again, thank you, John, for joining me on the channel and joining me to talk about the new album and what you guys have coming up. Make sure you guys go check out John's other projects too, with Agoraphobic Nosebleed and Nest. Both really killer bands. You know, Agoraphobic being a little bit more the frantic grindcore noise side of things, and Nest being a lot more sludge metal, doom metal oriented. Thank you again for joining me on the show. Thank you for coming on and talking about the new album. I want to talk about some of the new releases that are coming out too this week, so you guys have something to listen to this weekend along with this. First up, we have the new album out from Blyzzrd. This is the band's newest album, Duel. It's out now via Napalm Records. Really aggressive, really heavy, probably one of the band's more heavier sounding records in, you know, the last few years. Obviously, a lot has happened with the band, with a lot of stuff that's happened with the war in Ukraine. Very emotionally driven record, really kind of going back to a lot of what the band's sound was familiar with, but just a lot more angst, a lot more anger, and rightfully so, because it was absolutely horrible what has been and is continuing to go on in the country of Ukraine. My heart still goes out to Ginger and everybody that's still affected with the tragedies that have been happening in Ukraine. The band really expanding a lot more of those just progressive metal elements too, allowing a lot more intricacy. I mean, with the album really being like 42 minutes long, it's still been able to show off so much technical adversity with the band. By still having a lot of, you know, melodic parts in there. The more melodic songs like Tumbleweed are really killer. Jazzier songs that are like Dark Bile and going into other, you know, more progressive, you know, familiarities with Someone's Daughter, one of the band's biggest singles out from this album. Truly incredible, truly loving it. So go pick up the new album from Blyzzrd, Duel. We also have a new album out too from Obscura, A Sonication too. in spite of everything that's going on with, Obscuro, there's been a lot of allegations of copyright and stealing riffs from some of the other bands. I believe that there's a lot of, there's a lot of speculation online about, riffs being stolen from one artist to another. Really sad to hear that. Also out today, too, is a new album from Dream Theater, too, Parasomnia, and it's paired with a plethora of official audio visualizers and thumbnails that are just completely written in AI. So really makes sense for a prog band to just go and use things like AI because they're too busy writing 22-minute masterpieces and just technical adversaries. Also, this is like the first album too featuring not Dave Portnoy, it's the fucking pizza guy. Mike Portnoy back on drums too. So go listen to the new Dream Theater for all you progressive metal nerds who just like things in weird time signatures that are, equations that you can't actually mathematically solve. Who else put out new music today? Nobody I really care about. No offense to anybody who put out new music. That being said, thank you guys again for watching. Let me know what you guys are thinking of this new structure, of this new format with the channel, with these episodes. Let me know your feedback down below. And while you're down there, click in the description. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're sharing it with all your friends. And yeah, make sure you go pick up the merch. I have merch available. It really helps out the show tremendously. I'll have a new episode up sometime next week too. We'll see where it goes with that. Still down below, if you have a name for the show, come up with a name for it. But for now, this has been the Blyzzrd Show. Huzzah! Thank you guys for watching, and I'll make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, follow on Insta, follow on TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitch, all that fun stuff. Merch is over there. Links down below to all of that. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.